Hi, my name is Bob Daleo, and I own the Kona Ice of St. Charles County. We started in August of 13, so that'll be my 10th year. And then we have 5 trucks, 2 trailers, a kiosk, and a mini. And then we added 2 coffee trucks in the last year. My background is all restaurants. I started out in the restaurant business at 16, thinking I was just taking a part-time job as a dishwasher. Well, I progressed my way up through that, tried college, didn't care for college, so I went to just a local JUCO and took just leadership courses, supervising courses, management courses, and as soon as I turned 21, got into management. So we're working in the restaurant business, one, you got the long hours. It's crazy, you work some, I was going in at 4:30 in the morning. Some you're getting off at 4:30 in the morning. It just so many varied hours, really wasn't no fun. And it was something different every single day. You went to work the same place every day, but there was a new challenge, there was a new goal, there was a new something, so it kept it interesting. And that would always kept me. There was always a good challenge in the restaurant business. But then new leadership comes and it doesn't get as fun anymore. So it wasn't going the right direction. And a buddy of mine actually used to own a franchise, Mike Vickers. He told me about Kona Ice. I had never heard about Kona. And so I started looking at it. And Mike's a BSer, so I took it with a grain of salt, but I did go home and look up Kona Ice. I said, he wants me to make a living selling shaved ice. Yeah, so I laughed a little bit, but I dug in, I called a couple people. I said, man, this is pretty cool. Told Chris that I wanted to do it. She was kind of paying a little bit of attention to me. And so next thing I know, I called her and I says, man, I told them I wanted to buy a truck. So I'm thinking, I got a job, I'll pay for the truck while I'm working. And she looked at me crazy.
So I think he had already looked at Kona Ice before he actually told me that he was already approved, right? So I didn't realize that, that he had already done that. So he's like, hey, we need to get into this business. I'm like, well, that's great, but who's gonna run it? Because you're always working and you're out of town and I already have my business. So that kind of got put on the side.
I had to say, you're right. So I call Colleen up and says, man, I can't do it. So backed out. A year later, the blessing comes and I lose my job. And my big thing was, can I really support my family in a snow cone truck, So I remember asking Tony, you think I can make 50 grand a year? He goes, you got this. And I says, okay, I'm in. I knew that this is for me. This is for me. I was all in.
Okay, so Bob's restaurant career was amazing. However, towards the end of it, it was probably the perfect time for a change, a positive change. And then when the opportunity came up, whenever they decided to move forward in a different direction, it was perfect because I'm like, do it. I still had apprehensions, I think, until the first convention. Then I was like teary-eyed, I think, talking to Tony. I'm like, thank you so much. It was just so corny. For me, I'm not real emotional, but to embrace the culture of Kona Ice and to meet the people, you know what I mean? That changed everything about how I feel about Kona Ice.
They thought I was crazy. I lost it. My brother thought I lost it. Like I said, my dad was the only one that says, you got this. My dad and I have a great relationship. I've been away from the Kansas City area since I was 30. So, but when I called Dad and said was I thinking about it or doing it? I think I was already made the commitment, and I was ready for him to say, "What the hell," But he, "Oh my gosh, Bob, that is awesome!" And I'm on the phone listening to it. Whoa, this is great. I made the right decision, I think. Because he goes, you know what? When I used to get snow cones, man, they would never, because I had already told him about the flavor wave and putting your own flavor on and all that. He goes, you know what? They never put enough on for me. You are going to kill it. So I said, all right, we got this.
Yeah, okay. You can just say, hi, I'm George Daleo and I'm Bob Daleo.
Yeah. You want me to say it that way?
One more time for me.
Okay. Hi, I'm George Daleo and I'm Bob's dad.
Awesome.
You know, you have sons and daughters that go to work, and they come home and they tell you the bad things of what happened that day and what they don't like, their boss or whatever. You never got that with Bob. It shows you've done something right as a parent. And as he went through it up, he was, washing dishes. He didn't take it as a downer. He just would say, I'm gonna move up, and sure enough, he stayed there and became the manager. I'm very proud, very proud. And so he's that type. I guess watching him in Kona gave the edge of, really, it rounded him off, because he had the parts and the tools. You just gave him a reason. He didn't have to, no offense to bosses, he didn't have to listen. He could do what he wanted to do, and whether you can't when you're not the boss. And Kona gave him that ability to say, hey, I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to hire this, or I'm not going to get that. He seemed to me doing it with no problem. And I'm not shooting the bull here. He loved the company from day one. Once he got that truck, I mean, it was like a kid. It's very, like I said, very rewarding to know that he puts time into worrying about the people he serves and the servant and his workers, And he's a cool guy. I mean, what can I tell you? I'm a little biased.
So when I first started, we have no event scheduled. So Chris and I get in the truck and we're gonna go do neighborhoods. And so we pull in, I remember the subdivision like it was yesterday.
So we're driving along thinking, is the music loud enough? Are we going too fast? We're just thinking, are people looking at us? Like, what is this?
And we pull in, we go down this cul-de-sac and come back up. And I look in the corner, I see this kid chasing me.
This little boy changed the whole perspective. He wanted us to come down to his house. He gets his Kona and he's like,
"You made my day!" So we're driving off, Chris and I. I looked at Chris, I go, "We can do this."
He was so happy. So then we could embrace saying, we're not the creepy ice cream truck. The kids are gonna love it. He was so excited. So that really helped us feel more confident.
So yeah, I get in the business, and I think I only wanted the one truck, but we buy the neighboring franchise out. So now I went from one to three trucks, so I knew I had to staff it. And so of course the first place you look at is friends, neighbors. Now I got the A team with Dennis and Kelly, and I'm sure you're gonna talk to them because they are outstanding. This year's sales are up 50%, and it was a lot to do. I'm gonna cry. That came out of nowhere. So without them, there's no way we would have increased it by that much. And we weren't a low volume franchise, I don't believe. So increasing it 50%, it's a chunk of change. So I've been impressed.
Ladies first.
Oh, no. No, it's age before beauty.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Dennis. I'm operations manager.
I'm Kelly Whippler. I'm the event coordinator.
Bob and I go back. We're in the same neighborhood together, so I knew him from that. And when he started with 2013, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come on board. So I'm the first OG of his company. And so I was off and on for years until I moved up to Michigan. But Bob's a great man. I've been knowing him since 2013, and he's still the same old Bob Daleo.
A couple years after that, I came across Bob at an event. It was a local elementary school, and I was an employee there, and I got wind of a Kona Ice. And so I got on the phone with Bob one day and negotiated a very, very fair price, I felt. To this day, he'll say it's the lowest price he's ever negotiated with anyone. Many years passed, and I remember him telling me that day, we'd love to have teachers come, and work in the summer because they're off and they know how to work kids and crowds, and it's a perfect fit. About 3 summers ago, I reached out. I thought, okay, I can do this. I can drive a truck and have some fun. But through the interview process, when I left that day, I wasn't driving a truck. I was working in the office. So I was able to do that for a couple of summers. And last summer, he just said, hey, I kind of would like you to come full time. So
that's the same with me. I mean, I moved back to St. Louis, and I've always wanted to go Kona. Ever since Bob started, that opportunity came up. Bob called me and said, hey, I want you to come on board and be my operations manager. And I didn't even have to think about it, really. Came on board, and now I get to work with 2 wonderful people at Kona Ice.
we do have a ton of fun.
Yes.
I do. I love it. The 3 of us work very, very well together. And we have some similar but differences that I think make us a really great team. So I enjoy it so much. It was
Love it.
a very good decision on my part. So.
Bob started with 1 truck, I think a Mini, and then, next year he got another truck, and then he got 2 more trucks. I'm like, wow. And I get back here in 2021, and he's got 5 pieces of equipment, 2 coffee trucks. I mean, he's just growing, and we got a lot of land out back that we can grow even more, but we're just taking it 1 step at a time.
It keeps rolling and growing, but it's a lot of fun. It's a challenge, but a good challenge. I love it.
Yeah. Bob's he's a great boss. I mean, he's very open-minded. He don't cut himself short, so he's good to work for, and I like that. I want to grow.
It is fun, but it's also the give back and watching what happens. And it's not just about the money, it's about what that money is doing, right? It's helping those playgrounds that it's building and the services that it's providing for students and stuff. But it's also just that atmosphere that usually it's always a celebration. There's always something positive about what we're doing. And that's such a huge, huge change.
When you can get up in the morning, every morning, and say you're not going to work, you're on vacation. I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and that's what we get when we're working here at the Kona Ice with Bob Daleo. It's beautiful. We're trying to get Bob to take some time off. Get away from the job. Yes, he
Absolutely.
does. He's been doing it for 13 years, and he has to at some point just say, "Hey,
let go.
I'm gonna go on vacation." We're gonna say bye-bye.
He absolutely deserves it. He does. He makes it so easy to be here. He's 100% behind. I may come across with a wacky idea. Hey, why don't we try this? And he's like, yeah, okay, let's. It's just so refreshing to have that in a boss, right? We like it. We have fun. We have fun.
One big happy family.
We are.